Ring Magazine is hosting their first event in the United States. And it's not just any event, it's the first event ever in the center of Times Square in New York City. It's not at a traditional boxing venue, it's not at Madison Square Garden, it's not at the Barclays Center, it's on the street. They set up a boxing ring and a limited number of seating as well. It's a non-ticketed event to the public, but a VIP type of event. And it's titled Fatal Fury, City of the Wolves, Times Square. And it's the first boxing event of the weekend because there's 3 boxing events in 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We'll get into that later. But Ryan Garcia is returning after a year away to take on Rolly Romero in the main event. But the co-main event, his former foe, Devin Haney, is taking on Jose Carlos Ramirez. And then you got Teofimo Lopez taking on Arnold Barbosa Jr. for the WBO Super Lightweight Championship of the world in the third fight from the top. So you have Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, and Teofimo Lopez on the same card. All 3 guys are normally main eventers, so that's what makes this so much more unique. And Turki Al-Sheikh just continues to put on incredible boxing events and continues to break down barriers in the sport and do things that you never would see before. You would never see 3 main event pay-per-view stars and 3 of the best fighters in boxing period be on the same card while they're not facing each other, and then you have this event taking place on the street in Times Square. So just an incredible event this is. Starting at the top with the main event, it's Ryan Garcia, it's Ronaldo Romero, or known as Rolly, and this is a fight that has been talked about for a couple years. They've been going back and forth for a couple years, and they sparred a couple times, and Rolly Romero says that a couple years ago when they sparred, he is older than Ryan, but he said that he beat Ryan Garcia pretty bad in the sparring, so we'll have to wait to see if that's true or if it comes to fruition. But both guys are much different fighters than they used to be, and although I thought the odds would be closer because you have Ryan Garcia coming back from a year away, he did test positive for a banned substance, and it took away his fantastic victory back in April of 2024 against Devin Haney in the Barclays Center. That got erased, and now he's back. Ryan Garcia has a more calm demeanor to him. He looks a lot better emotionally and just all around. Last year, he just had he's shown so many kind of self-destructive qualities, and it had people worrying about Ryan Garcia's well-being, and it's just great to see him back to the guy from a couple years ago. He still has that feisty side to him. He was still going back and forth with Bill and Devin Haney at the press conference, but he seems much more calm and confident in himself, and he's not as big as he was a year ago. So I think we're going to see the elite version of Ryan Garcia that we've seen in the past. I mean, this guy is one of the best boxers in the world, as we know. He's 24-1 with 20 knockouts, and although he hasn't won a fight in over a year at this point, because technically he didn't win that fight against Devin Haney as it got overturned, Ryan Garcia is still a crazy favorite in this fight at minus 1100. Rolly Romero is plus 650, and it's just hard to bet on the money line when you have guys by like that, those numbers. So I think an interesting bet on DraftKings Sportsbook is actually to take Ryan Garcia to win in round 7 to 12, because 2 of his last 3 fights, actually, and 3 of his last 4 fights and his last 3 of his last 4 victories did come in round 7 through 12, and that's where I'm taking him in this fight, because you get some good odds there at plus 180 for Ryan Garcia to win in round 7 through 12. I do think he'll get the finish. As I said, Ryan Garcia is one of the best power punchers in the sport, and I think he's coming into this fight with a lot to prove, because he's had a lot of doubters about, is he done fighting at a high level? Is the Ryan Garcia from old done? And he will need to prove that he can still fight at a high level and do so in a normal state, that, like I was previously mentioning. But in the co-main event, Devin Haney taking on Jose Ramirez, another welterweight bout. And although Devin Haney's record still says 31-0, everybody that watched that fight a year ago knows there is a blemish on his record. And although his physical record doesn't say that, he did lose the decision on the night to Ryan Garcia. He was knocked out or knocked down 3 times by Ryan Garcia last April. And you can erase that from the record, but you can't erase that from our minds when we watch that on that night. And I think Devin Haney is another guy who has a lot to prove. He's going against Jose Ramirez, who is 29-2 in his career. He's plus 700. Devin Haney is minus 1,200. I think Devin Haney to win this fight, I think he's going to win it, but the odds are just way too much. He's plus 450 to win by knockout. He hasn't had a knockout in quite some time. I do think he'll win this fight, but as most of his fights have gone as of late, I do think he'll win by decision. The third fight from the top is the only title fight on the card. It's a WBO super lightweight title fight. It's Teofimo Lopez, the pride of Brooklyn, New York, returns to the Big Apple to try to win his 6th straight fight. He's won 5 straight fights after losing to George Kambosos Jr. back in 2021, and his last 5 victories all came by decision, and that's why I like him minus 120 to win by decision or technical decision, because he's another guy, but his odds are not as great as Haney or Garcia, but he's still minus 250 on the money line. So I like him to win by decision. Although he has been unbelievable, he's going up against a really tough competitor in Arnold Barbosa Jr. is 32-0 in his own right, undefeated. So I think that is going to be the fight of the night. But I think Ryan Garcia is going to have the moment of the night, because I think Ryan Garcia is going to knock Rolly Romero out and prove to the world once again that he is one of the best fighters in the world. And hopefully Haney and Garcia both win, because we hopefully will get a rematch between Haney and Garcia later in 2025. That would just be a magnificent fight to see for all fight fans. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Please hit the subscribe button, and I'll have more boxing coverage leading up this weekend.